What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Shifty coming back at y'all boys with another video. And today, bro, we got some Black Ops 7 on the screen, man. As you can see, we got some information regarding to some of the changes that they made after the beta. Activision's been changing their ways. They've been listening to the community. But before we get too far into it, man, go ahead, drop a like, man, drop a sub. We're so close to 500 subscribers, man. We're so close. Appreciate everybody that's been watching the videos and staying tuned within the shorts, pulling up through the live streams, man. If you guys are interested within the live streams, we do go live every single day over on Twitch, Kick, and also here over on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern. We run open lobbies and everything like that, playing Call of Duty, Battlefield, just whatever we feel like playing, man. We play whatever. Now, before we actually get into the necessary of the actual dev talk, I do want to say this regarding to Black Ops 7. I think that this year is going to be a really good year, regardless of the changes that they're going to, announce. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to watch this together. And I think it's just going to be fun, man, especially with skill-based matchmaking being removed. I think that's going to take about 80% of the stress away. But let's see what changes that they made regarding to.
Hey everyone, Matt Schrantz, design director at Treyarch, back again to talk about some updates for multiplayer in Black Ops 7. Okay, so the first topic I want to touch on is the whole aim down sights, ADS, while sliding, diving, wall jumping topic. So in the beta, that did require you to take the dexterity perk. The team looked at all of our options and ultimately landed on providing the most fluid experience by default, which does mean we've reintroduced the ability to aim down sights while sliding, diving, and wall jumping by default. You do not need to take the dexterity perk. Dexterity will still speed up those interactions, sprint to fire, slide to fire, but you will not need dexterity perk to ADS while doing those actions.
Now, with us getting that news, man, I am actually really excited for that. Dexterity perk was just super heavily crutched, and I'm just happy that they're just allowing us to be able to just play that way. I kind of felt like with having it locked behind dexterity, it just didn't feel like COD, man. And I just want COD to kind of go back to just what it felt like back in the day. And I don't mean as far as jetpacks or advanced movement. When I say as far as like how it felt, it didn't feel smooth when I didn't have dexterity on. So I appreciate that change, and I think that's definitely a positive change, and I think the overall community will agree with this change regardless. Now, I am very interested to see, he did say that the dexterity perk would still speed that up, so I wonder how that's going to play if you was to stack like dexterity with lightweight, for example. But let's see what else he has to say.
Okay, next one I want to touch on is just to reconfirm a topic I touched on in our last dev update about footstep volume. We have slightly increased the volume of our footsteps in multiplayer. We're very happy with where they're at, where it's going to incentivize more stealth play styles without over-indexing on the need for the ninja perk.
Now, I don't really necessarily know exactly how to feel about that or really what that really means, because what do you mean by you're going to increase the footstep audio but you don't want ninja to be like a crutch perk? Bro, if you make the footsteps loud, people are going to run ninja. It's just how it is. But at the same time too, bro, I don't really think the footsteps needed to be louder. I just think they needed to be more consistent. Like it felt like sometimes within gunfights people will just run up on you, and sometimes you would hear it, sometimes you wouldn't. I don't think that it has anything to do with how loud the footsteps actually are, but I mean, hey, if it fixes it, then I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Okay, next I want to touch on where we've landed with our slide tuning coming out of the beta for launch. Alongside that dexterity change and the ADS change, we have slowed down the slide speed a bit and we reduced the distance a bit, but I promise you it still feels great, it still feels fluid, but we want to make sure that that's not the only way you can enter in an engagement.
Now, at least for me, while I was playing inside of the beta, bro, I didn't really have an issue with necessarily how fast and how long the slide was. It didn't feel that fast, and it didn't feel like you really went that far either. But the one thing I will say is that if that's catering to like more of a casual or a slower pace, at the end of the day, bro, this is COD, and I want COD to feel like COD. And if it messes up the flow of the game, hopefully they're just willing to revert the change, be and just keep communicating with us when it comes down to stuff like that. Because I know a lot of people are looking for the game to kind of slow down a bit, and I do think sometimes it can get a bit fast, especially with the map design. But it's just I don't know about necessarily just completely kind of slowing down that slide, especially playing with like a AR, bro. It really didn't feel like I was sliding that far. Now the submachine guns, but you're supposed to be able to move with a sub. It's COD, but yeah.
Okay, another movement topic I want to touch on are our mantles. So we saw the feedback, we agree. Some of the mantles felt a little slow, so the team is going through every single mantle in the game to make sure that we have a consistent speed and fill, and everything feels fast and fluid. The next one is a meaty topic, and it's about our perks and our perk distribution. Got a lot of feedback. We made some changes ahead of beta coming out of our blog. A lot of you had a lot of feedback on that, which we appreciate. But the big changes that we're going to focus on here for launch are: one, we want to make sure that we are incentivizing and allowing for varied play styles. Two, we saw a lot of feedback on how stacked slot one was. So we've made some adjustments there that I think you're going to be happy with. And then three, there were some kind of niche underutilized perks. So we've actually made some combinations of perks to make those chunky decisions and choices.
Now, with me seeing that the mantling speed kind of being increased, it does give me more hope related to the slide. Now, that does kind of let me know, hey, they're not looking to fully kill movement. They're trying to figure out a balance with it. So that's good. The perks. Now, he did go, like, within the video, whatever, he did go into detail exactly on the perks. I'm not going to necessarily show that within my video here. If you guys want, I'll link it down in the description or whatever. But as far as the perks go and everything being stacked, and specifically him saying that he wanted a balanced, I'm going to be real. Even after the changes, it is better. Don't get me wrong. It is better. But I do still think, as far as for a slower playstyle that doesn't care too much about movement and the things that kind of increase your movement within the game, you still kind of have to pick and choose and kind of sacrifice more than what the slower playstyles have. More than what the slower playstyles have to do. And I'm not necessarily saying that maybe change, maybe go to change their perks around. I'm just saying that maybe with those perks, you just need to get like less score, because a lot of the slower playstyle perks, they kind of just cater to getting your score streaks and getting those streaks a lot faster and being able to help out the team. So if they could just lower how much score that those players are getting when they do have those, because I do think when the full game comes out, especially when I believe it was exclusive Ace that made that video related to the score and how much score you were able to get by stacking everything together. Dude, I got online and I'm telling you, people were instantly doing that, and they were like UAVs within like 3 seconds of the match. So yeah. And he also made some comments too regarding to like aim assist and mouse and keyboard players, basically saying that they're going to be looking into, they're still doing research, regarding to the aim assist. They do see that keyboard and mouse players, they have the advantage at longer ranges, and controller players have the advantage at closer ranges. And I just think regarding to that, as long as they just don't completely chalk the way that the game feels on a controller, I think whatever changes that they do will be fine. I do think that mouse and keyboard players, it can get a little bit more, balanced. But at the end of the day, if you're just getting tired of going against, controller players, disable crossplay. And then at that point, if you're still having issues with it, at that point, bro, it's a skill issue, because you're choosing to use a keyboard and mouse just like the next person is choosing to use a controller. But at the end of the day, it's been your boy Shifty, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys do, man, drop a like, drop a comment, man. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. We're almost there, a little bit under 20 away. And yeah, once again, if you guys want to come check out the streams, we stream every day, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'll catch y'all boys in the next video, man. Peace.